Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. More than anything, the question of losing image seems to be haunting our government a lot. Possibly more than a lot of other things that are happening in our country. You see, around 300 top officials of the central government participated in a workshop titled Effective Communication conducted by Abhishek Singh, the CEO of My Government. So there was a workshop conducted, this is according to the Hindustan Times report. There was a workshop conducted where Abhishek Singh conducted this workshop which actually spoke about effective communication. We've been speaking about that for quite some time now. Effective communication. Idea being, how do we build imagery? Let's talk about it. That's my topic number one. My topic number two is Tejasvi Surya. This young member of parliament from Karnataka, he went out and he said that, the Bruhat Bangalore Mahanagar Palika, BBMP, Bangalore Municipal Corporation, he says that, they are actually hedging numbers. There is a scam, he said. The COVID beds are available, but they are showing as if no beds are available, and it's a scam. And he actually tried to expose the scam. A lot of people appreciated what he did, and then one found out what his actual intentions were. Let's talk about that. Let's get right into the show. So around 300 top officials of the central government participated in a workshop titled Effective Communication, like I said, conducted by Abhishek Singh, the CEO of My Government. The idea being, they said, listen, you know what? We are being battered from all ends here. International media, bad things about us. It's Indian media, I don't know how much of any Indian media is saying anything bad, but all the same, at least a lot of digital media saying bad things about us. The imagery overall is very bad. People are not happy. People are not satisfied with our work. People are not satisfied with the way the government has conducted the wave 2. So overall, Baba, the image is very bad. So the idea was, what he said is, listen, you know what? Let us talk positive. Let us put more positive news, positive information in the media, in the masses, in the general masses, so that the environment, the feel becomes positive, and there will be a positive dispensation towards the government, which is now very negative. I have been talking about this for quite some time. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, this is my second editorial on imagery. You see, what is imagery? Imagery is when you get into cricket, the first match you score 100, the second match you score 100, the third match you score 100 and take 3 wickets, the fourth match you score 80 and take 5 wickets, and the fifth match onwards, you can build your image. You will be called Master Blaster. You will be called God. You will be called the Super Cricketer. Somebody will be called Wall, so on and so forth. The image is built when you start winning. The image will build when you start achieving. Image will build when you act something which benefits others. When you act, when you do something which benefits others, image will build. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he built India's nuclear technology. Image is built. He didn't go to a PR agency and bola ka mera image bada ke do. It doesn't work that way. Even if he said it doesn't work that way. For an image to be built, you need to make yourself a winner. You need to do acts that people appreciate. Then you build an image over it. If you go in a running race, the image of the person who came first, second, and to a certain extent third can be built because they get medals. The guy who came last, he goes to a PR agency and says, image badhao mera yaar. The PR agency will go and ask him to take a walk. तुम्हारा क्या image बढ़ेगा? Last आया तुम, काय का image बढ़ेगा? Image equals to action. Positive image equals to positive action. The government has to focus not on calling 300 officials and saying image badhao. Call 30 good minds. 30 good minds in a room and say ek plan banao to combat COVID wave 2, to ensure wave 3 is taken care of. That is what the government needs to do. The government called, like I said, 300 of his executives and had this workshop for effective communication. You see, the first thing the government needs to understand that effective communication is not positive communication always. Positive communication doesn't lead to effective communication, but relevant communication makes effective communication. Relevant communication, well articulated, equals to effective communication. Now, the fact remains that relevant communication cannot be just conjured from thin air. You have to have action that can be relevant to people, that helps people. And that action needs to be communicated. The first thing the government needs to basically communicate is, do we know how are we going to tackle if our number goes up? And when our number goes up, in fact, our numbers are going up. When it further goes up, do we know how are we going to tackle it? Do we know how are we going to tackle our problem of inoculating 135 crore of people? How are we going to tackle it? Do we know how are we going to get oxygen? Do we know how are we going to get life-saving drugs? Do we know what happens if there is a lockdown? Is there going to be a lockdown? Do we know what happens if there is a lockdown, and then what happens to the economy? Do we know how are we going to employ our people? Unemployment is growing. Do we have answers to any of these questions? The image of this government will not go up until and unless the common man, the man on the street, knows answer to these questions. A common man needs to know that if I get COVID and I am breathless, where do I go? Where do I get my bed? He needs to know. The image will be nice. He will say, good government. PR agency nahi kar sakta wo. A PR agency cannot do it. He needs to get oxygen when he is gasping for breath. When he gets that oxygen, he will thank the government and say, listen, the government is there to take care of me. Till he gets that oxygen, no image. An image saying that what a beautiful government, gasping for air, that image of saying it's a beautiful government doesn't work. When he has no money to feed his family, a good hoarding saying that achhe din aayenge will not work. Action works. With good action, you create good imagery. Get a team of experts in handling crisis in place. Let that team handle the COVID issue. Let that team put the entire system into place where they handle the COVID issue nationally. That's what we need. And that team needs to be apolitical. That team needs to be politically agnostic. In fact, the best brains from wherever we can get. That's the only request to the government. And that's the best way to build an image. But till then, these stunts will not help. Let's get to our next topic. Tejasvi Surya, the young Bharatiya Janata Party member of parliament, came out with an expose. People said against his own government. Karnataka is Bharatiya Janata Party governed state. He came out with an expose of his own government wherein he said that, listen, you know what? Actually, in Municipal Corporation of Bangalore, there are a lot of beds available. But that beds are full of asymptomatic patients. So, actual symptomatic patients who are desperate for oxygen and bed, they don't get it. He said, this is a scam. This is a scam. Now, people appreciated that. People said, well, very good. He rose above his party lines and got this exposure. But then this video surfaced.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಸಿಗ್ನೇಷನ್ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೆ CHBMS ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ 17 ಜನದ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ಇವರನ್ನ ಹೈರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಇವರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ 17 ಜನ ಮನ್ಸೂರ್ ಅಲಿ ತಾಯಿರ್ ಅಲಿ ಖಾನ್ ಸಾದಿಕ್ ಬಾಷಾ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಜಯದ್ ಅಲ್ಸಾಯ್ ಸಯೀರ್ ಉಮೇರ್ ಖಾನ್ ಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ಹುರೀಫ್ ಜಮೀರ್ ಪಾಷಾ ಜಬಿ ಉಲ್ಲಾ ಖಾನ್ ಸೈಯದ್ ಹಸ್ನೈನ್ ಸೈಯದ್ ಶಾಹಿದ್ ಶಹೀದ್ ಶಬಾಸ್ MD ಯೂನಸ್ ಸೈಯದ್ ಮೊಯಿನ್ ಶಾ ಸೈಯದ್ ಮುಯೇಶ್ ಶಾ ಅಲ್ಸಾಯಿನ್
Who is this?
Who are these people?
ಏನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಾ
ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬರ್ತಾರಾ 17 ಜನ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ
Process
ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್
ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಇದು 17 ಜನ ಯಾರು
ಹೆಂಗ್ರಿ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು
ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ
ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡೋರಾ
In this video, he says, he reads out some 17 names, all Muslim names, and he says, what is this madrasa? How are these volunteers appointed? Who appointed these volunteers? He said, who appointed them? So the lady said that recruiting agencies appointed them. He said, recruiting agency, call the recruiting agency here. I want to ask. I mean, what does this mean? Was he trying to say that 17 people, just because they are Muslims, they are not qualified? Or just because there are 17 Muslims, so he is surprised? How can there be 17 Muslims working? What was he trying to say? This is against the constitution of our country. By the way, a News Minute report says that there was a scam, which is fine. The News Minute report says that the police has actually accused 4 people of that particular scam. One is Rehan, Shashi, Rohit and Netravati. Rehan, Shashi, Rohit and Netravati. These were 4 people, according to the Joint Commissioner of Police Crime, Sandeep Patil, who were accused of malpractices in allocating beds. Rehan, Shashi, Rohit and Netravati. You know, the government was, I just spoke about imagery. You know what, government? This is what you should stop. This MP should be sacked. This MP should be sacked. Your image will go up 4 folds. 4 folds. Because while he exposed a scam, very good, superb, but that's his job. That's why he became an MP, right? He exposed a scam. But then he made that scam communal. I don't know whether such things come naturally to some people or do they have to take efforts to do this? Let us fight COVID, not each other. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here, you can be our supporter by paying Rs 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying Rs 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.